Hello, this is Dr. Shoes, and in this podcast I'm going to explain how the grading system will work for our Algebra 7 class. The first thing you should know is that in this class we will be using a skill-based gradebook. And so you'll notice that skills are listed at the top of the gradebook. So instead of things like homework and test 1 and test 2, we actually have skills listed. What I've done is I've made a sample gradebook for you here at the bottom of an imaginary student. And we're going to walk through this gradebook so that you'll understand how it will work. But the first thing you should understand is the different point system. Instead of A, B's, or percentages, you'll be graded on how well you've mastered the learning target or objective. A score of 1 means you're just beginning to understand it. 2 is developing, 3 is progressing, which means you're pretty close to having it mastered, and 4 is mastery. And in order to earn a 4, you have to have everything completely perfect. So that's a really tough thing to do, but hopefully that's what we'll earn as the quarter goes on, and you'll master different learning targets. So in this sample gradebook, you'll see at the top it says Learning Target 1, or LT1, which is Evaluate and Write Expressions, Equations, and Inequalities. And these are the sections in the book that this learning target covers. So you'll know, as we did earlier this quarter, that we take a pretest before we begin anything. And in the pretest, this sample student scored a mastery on Learning Target 1, which is why they have an X in the homework slot. You'll notice an X means that you're excused from the homework because you performed mastery on the pretest. So this student got an X because they mastered it on the pretest. However, everyone has to take the quiz, and this student showed mastery again on the quiz. We then average those two grades. Obviously, you can't average an X, so the average of nothing and 4 is just 4. So the blue shows the average of homework and quiz, and for this learning target, the student got a 4. On the second learning target, the student didn't master it on the pretest, so they had to do the homework, and on the homework they got a 3. Then on the quiz they got a 4 of mastery for an average of 3.5. On the third learning target, a 2 on the homework, a 3 on the quiz for an average of 2.5. So you can see that that's pretty simple. The homework and the quiz for each learning target is averaged, and that's what's in blue right there. After a unit is completed, students take a unit test. And in this case, the student also scored mastery on Learning Target 1, Learning Target 2, but they did not master it for Learning Target 3. When a student does not show mastery on the unit test, they will again be tested on unit test 2 for that learning target. So this student has 2 scores because the first time they did not show mastery. However, once you show mastery on a unit test, you get a score of 4. If, however, you'll see on a further example, the student never showed mastery, then you simply average the 2 unit tests. But as long as you show mastery on a unit test, you will get a score of 4 for your unit test. At the end of every quarter, there's a summative quarter test. And we use the word summative to mean evaluative, final at the end. It's almost like a final exam at the end of the quarter. And that's just the way that we check to see that students are retaining what they've learned. So not just learning it for the test, but learning it for long-term learning. And in this case, the students scored a 4, a 4, a 4, and then a 3. So there's no averaging that's done on the quarter test. It just shows whether or not they've retained what they learned. Then, at the end, for each learning target, the numbers that are in blue are averaged. So for learning target 1, the average of 4, 4, and 4 is, of course, a 4. For learning target 2, the average of 3.5, 4, and 4 is 3.8. For learning target 3, the average of 2.5, 4, and 4 is 3.5. So I went ahead and did that for all the learning targets for the entire first quarter. Again, this is just a sample of a student. And you'll see at the bottom I have all the averages in red. And then what I've done is simply added up all those red numbers and divided it by 56, which is if you had scored a mastery on all of them, and then figured out a percentage. So this student had an 88%. That would be a grade of a B. I hope this helps understand how the grading will work. Please know that we will work together every day in class to figure out your grade and help you manage it so that you're aware of how you're doing. See you soon.